I believe that when you're in a relationship, you actually are putting a cap over your lid. You're not really actually appreciating the things that you imagine that you would be going through with the relationship. Within every relationship, there comes a downfall, similar to that of the apple. When you throw it up, it must come back down. And what you are about to see in the next clip is an example of when the downfall occurs within every single relationship. It's inevitable. And when it gets to these tactics that are being used, the relationship is pretty much over. And my friend, it will happen to you. Once you have opened your eyes and accepted what life has to offer, and you have your own path and you will create your own way of life, you will notice these few things. One, couples aren't really couples unless they're noticed in public. Two, they're only pretending in public. When most couples are at home, they hardly even look or talk to each other. So in other words, it is a play or a script that they are rehearsing once in public. Now, the play and the script is an act, okay? And the act is to act as if you are now happy because you have another physical being, which has nothing to do with you and your breathing and your physical anatomy and your growth and your well-being. Okay, a little bit of your well-being if you really like them. But in essence, these two people are really losers. Now, I know many of you may say, oh, you're just jealous or whatever, you don't have blah, 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 or whatever. No, I've been in a lot of relationships, too many to be exact. And the thing that I realize is that behind closed doors, you are not really a couple. You'll find that you're doing something different from she is. She's doing something different from you. And there is a time when you just kind of want to avoid each other. I think that is really sad. It almost is so telling to show the truth about the actual true relationships between human males and human females, is that there really is truly no compatibility. Very, very difficult to dive into the topic, but if you notice, if you have to make something work, okay, and it is a constant thing. Imagine if you go to your car and you had to do 5 or 6 different things before you drive the car, and while you're driving the car, and after you drive the car, you have to do a few things. It takes a lot of work to keep it working, like the Model T, for example. You had to crank that thing up. There was no windows or nothing. There's a lot of preparation, no cubby holes, nothing. That is the state that we as human beings are in relationships. It takes a lot of work, and if both sides don't do their part, it comes crumbling down. This is how bored couples have gotten, alright? So couples in today, like these two are walking or whatever. Couples of today are born. Alright? Let's talk. Yesterday it was about 68 degrees. And literally 20 hours later, it is 35 degrees. January, March, February. So March is coming up soon. So when you're a single dude, I'm sure if you're in a couple's relationship, it probably happens to you too. So remember, I blatantly go out of my way not to give any females attention at all at the store, period. That's the number one rule, especially in a rural area. This is a rural, anybody comes in area. So I'm in line, and I'm in line, and this lady's in line at the right side of me. All right, so I noticed that she has a big set of groceries with her, but she's like conservative, like she has a shirt longer over her buttocks, so that's good, you know. And she's giving off the body language and the vibe of like she's available. So I know it happened to me even 2 times being in there. You'll see the women being acting like they're vulnerable, but all of a sudden a guy comes out of nowhere. You can go ahead, I saw y'all. So, I just want to tell you what I overheard these 2 people saying, the one in the wheelchair and the lady with the jeans. The one in the wheelchair apparently is her mom, who has failed her throughout her whole entire life, and this is why her mom lives with her and her boyfriend. And apparently, she is trying to get pregnant for this guy. So the conversation went like this. She said to her mom, yeah, we're trying to get that baby going. And then the lady in the wheelchair says, not again. This is the 3rd time. Are you sure you're going to keep him this time? It's so sad how her mom set her up for failure, and she's still sucking off of her daughter like a leech. They love to play that game. That's the couple's game. They love to play that game. Oh my God! When a couple gets into that situation, their relationship's pretty much over. And in another year or 2, it'll be even more over. So check it out. So this is how they played it this time. So mind you, at first I'm in their direction, but I'm kind of like looking like this. She's over here where you're at. So I'm kind of like this, behind my cart. So there's a cart between me and her. So I knew she wanted attention and she wanted someone to reject or whatever. So all of a sudden, right, this guy sneaks up and it's like he's practicing his game in the store, like it is so pathetic and so sad. Like I literally spent pretty much a lot of money on groceries, and I had like a whole cart of groceries while he had pretty much boxes because he has to serve my lord or his girlfriend. So that's where all his money goes to. So he does this thing where he's like, excuse me, can I talk to you? She's like, yes, sir. What is it? Pretending like the whole situation's fresh or something. Like, I was like, oh my God. I felt like saying, you guys are pathetic. But of course they'll deny of the whole situation. So I let the whole scene play. So I turned myself in front of the cart close to where they were, and kind of started to get my items, and I let them play their whole scene out, and I could see them looking periodically like kids, you know how kids are, how these people are, they're just freaking kids. So they were looking back to see if I was actually paying them attention. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, and I finally get all my stuff in the cart, and I pull out my Pure Life milk, you know how we do it. We gotta pure life this sucker. And they're just in utter shock that I'm not paying them any attention whatsoever, to the point where you hear crickets. So then they knew the game was over, so then he gets in front of the line with his pathetic self, and then he goes and he pays for what he's rightfully supposed to, because you're in a relationship and you're a slave. That's what you deserve. You deserve to have to pay all the time, and I'm very glad these guys have to pay all the time, leaving more room for me to get my groceries and not have to go out for another 2 weeks. So, you know, and I could see in his face, that's when I gave him the attention. That's when I looked, I was like, and you should see utter shame in their faces. That's why you should never look away and be like shameful for not having something. The fact that you don't have something means you have a lot more of something else. Look at the back of the seat, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is gross. Gross. That's not groceries. That's gross. Like, throw up. I'm finna throw up. I could eat all of this food if I wanted to, you know, and still have more room for more. But I'm not clowning relationships, but it's just the games that a lot of people play in relationships. It's like, you're not doing it. You're proving to guys like me why we should never get into relationships. I mean, I'm not bashing women or nothing like that. I mean, that's for another time and another place. But I mean, let's be serious. When you do this game, it's really kind of embarrassing. You're kind of making it obvious that your relationships is in the dumps, and you're trying to rekindle some sort of flame that was never really there in the first place. Peace out. Stay tuned. Just a quick video. I'm getting back on the ebooks. I got 2 days to produce at least 100 pages. And it's just going to be pretty awesome.